Hello and welcome. I am Scarberlock, and this is City of Heroes. We are with Liberty Lass. She's level 35 now, and we're going to be starting our season 3.5, right? So we're sort of the second half of the third season, I guess. We're still in the 30s, and we'll do season quote-unquote 4 in the 40s. I don't know. I just felt like season 3 started to get a little long, and I didn't want us to get to like 40 episodes or something. So, we're at level 35. You guys saw in the previous episode that we now have our first enhancement set. This is our Archetype Origin Enhancement Set, Bone Smasher, which gives us all these bonuses listed down at the bottom. And so we're getting slight improvements from that. And we're going to be starting with some new contacts. The first one in our list, these are the level 35 contacts, 35 to 39, right? We're finished with the level 31 to 34 contacts. So Anton Sampson is our first one, and we're going to head over and see if we can have a talk with him. We have all of our toggles on, so that'll help us against snipers if somebody shoots at us. There are a few of them around. I haven't been sniped too many times here in Founders Falls, and we're now high enough level that there could only be +3s or 4s around. I think they're usually around level 38. They might be 39, but they can't go over that because this zone tops out at level 39. And level 40s are all on Peregrine Island. So here's Anton Sampson, and we'll see if we can get a story arc from him as quickly as we can. I'm going to check the warehouse for Nemesis's plans. So we're going to seek clues. We're going to head to King's Row. Want to point out that we do have this other power here, Hasten. This is a pool power that I chose so that in case we get slowed by enemies, we can pop Hasten, and it'll bring our recharge rate at least back up to normal and possibly maybe even make it better than it had been by default. We're not going to multi-slot Hasten. We don't have enough slots for that. In fact, we're still slot poor. We're starving for slots in part because we have had to take all 9 of our primaries and, of course, build up in Taunt. Where is that? I never really slot, but we have all 3 of these powers to finish slotting, and these 2 still need a couple slots. So it's going to be into the 40s before we have every one of our primaries and secondaries fully slotted. So I'm going to be trying, since we don't really need more attacks, I don't think, and I don't know that we really need more endurance, I'm going to be trying pretty hard to take, when I get to 41, to take an epic pool power that isn't going to require heavy slotting, because we really don't have the slots. On Rebirth, we wouldn't be in quite as much trouble because we'd have 4 extra slots, because you don't have to put slots in here. They automatically come in. So we would have finished these 2. We would have probably finished Pain Tolerance, and at level 37 and 36 and 7, we finish Total Focus and get started on Power Crash and Energy Transfer. But because we had to spend those extra slots on health and stamina, well, we didn't have to. I wanted to. And because we have 9 attacks, as opposed to, say, martial arts, where I would only have 8 primaries because we don't need that many. They recharge a little faster, and they don't stack on each other the way these powers do. We would be like several slots ahead, 5 slots ahead, and we would already finished our first couple powers, these 2, and be working on the later powers. But unfortunately. And there is a sniper. Unfortunately, we couldn't really do that, so... So, Nemesis, one of the things you have to watch out with for Nemesis is some of their lieutenants are actually snipers rather than regular lieutenants. And those guys, one advantage is they don't juice their neighboring partners, right? So what happens is with a regular lieutenant, when you defeat him, anybody in a radius... probably going from about here to the floor there, and maybe to that set of boxes there. Anybody within that radius is going to be buffed with something equivalent to Fortitude, makes them harder to hit. It gives them some regen and stuff like that. The snipers don't do the juicing, as I call it, but they can see you from a long way off, and they're very accurate. And to keep in mind, they do AoE attacks. I got well, I don't know if I got some of my teammates killed, but they got killed by staying too close to my scrapper while I was doing Warriors Challenge and trying to taunt the snipers, and they got AoE'd and knocked down and knocked unconscious and pounded. So their powers are AoE, and they also do knockdowns. So if this had been a sniper rather than a regular lieutenant, he'd be shooting me already because they have really long range vision. So you got to kind of watch out, because if there's, say, a sniper over there, they're going to start attacking, right? And what you want to do here is take out the minions first, because the lieutenant will, as I said, juice or improve the minions, right, with fortitude. Let me pull him back a little bit. These guys are hard to pull because they have long range pistol shots or rifle shots. But the reason I'm pulling him back is just to get him away from those other guys so that he doesn't juice them up. Right? I don't think his buff reaches far enough. So now this is something we have to protect. Right? Prevent the release of the gas. I think we have to protect it from them. We should be okay with our taunt power. They won't attack it. But we have to watch out that they do shoot AoE, so I don't know if their AoEs will damage it. Hasn't taken any damage yet. And now we can just taunt these guys and let them attack me. And then they won't bother the gas thing. As I think they aggro to it, if I'm not mistaken. But because I taunted them, they won't aggro to anybody else. I don't think there's an ambush in this mission, because we've already gotten credit for stopping them from releasing the gas. So we can get these guys on board here. Yeah, so you gotta be careful with the Nemesis. They do an AoE damage over time if it hits, and they can do a knockdown, AoE. So what happened to me when I was trying to do the pulling and my friends were too close to me is they didn't do anything to my character because my character had Mez defense. She was a scrapper. But it knocked down both of them, and then the additional incoming attacks started, started doing damage while they were still down, and then they got knocked down again, and they basically just got face planted. So I told them when they came back from the hospital, I said, guys, stop. Don't stay too close to me, right? Because I could take it, but they could not. So these guys are +2 Nemesis. We're doing pretty well against them. The thing is, I don't think Nemesis have any resistance against energy or smashing. So we should be doing full damage to them. And that takes them out. I can't remember, our Nemesis Tech? I can't remember what they drop. So yeah, I didn't actually think to mention it, but I've changed Liberty Lass's costume to this one, which is, well, you can see it from here. Kind of red base, and the way it's two pieces, right? There's a top and a skirt, but when you make them the same color and you put a belt on it, it looks like she's wearing like a dress, sort of like Supergirl used to wear back in the 60s. So I kind of like that. Cape's white, and then the boots and the gloves have the little star and stripe on them, which is a nice little variant that matches the stars and stuff on the rest of her costume. So I change every season, and I decided since this was like a mid-season premiere, or whatever you want to call it, we'd change costumes again. So that we've now seen 4 of the costumes. I have 2 more slots. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Maybe I'll try some capeless options, although I don't want to do that all the way through Season 4 because I do like her with a cape. And there is a sergeant, so we will do the Lancer first. Man, those things are going to be so brutal when they actually have them enhanced for damage, those two attacks. Gosh, missing with a 94 to hit. Missing with a 75. And there is a sniper. So the thing about snipers, as I said, is they don't buff. They don't juice their adjacent buddies. Oh shoot, I did that in the wrong order. It's okay to take them out first, and I usually do because, again, they have those nasty AoE stench grenades, right? Stink bombs, or whatever they are. Now, so the thing to be careful with Nemesis is stepping out here. If one of these is a sniper, they're going to start attacking you. Right? So you have to be careful because they have really long range. Much longer than the aggro range of anyone else in the game. And that's why you have to just sort of keep an eye on that and make sure you don't, especially if you aren't a brute or a tanker or a scrapper or something, make sure that you don't unwittingly go around a corner when there's a big long hallway or corridor and they get a beat on you and they're very accurate and they start pounding you. So you just kind of be careful, right? Even here, right? Say coming up above this, if there's a sniper over there, he'd start shooting me if I came up and, like, my normal thing to do is fly up here, right? But he could start shooting you from over there. So we're still looking for 4 crates. I wonder if I've missed one. There's another sniper, and there could be one right here, right? It's a typical place for spawns. So again, you gotta kind of watch and just keep an eye on them and try to not put yourself in a position to be taken down by multiple snipers at the same time. There are several maps, like in the one lab where there's like a walkway up there and there's a bunch of spawns up on the walkway and then the level above it, and they can all see down into the middle, and you go up on that walkway or down into the middle and you're getting hit by, you know, it might be 6 or 7 snipers all at once. That's a really easy way to get killed. So you just have to be careful. Right? Because while you're fighting these guys, a sniper down the other end of the hallway could see you and just start taking you out. And you don't even know what's happening because you think these guys are attacking you, and it turns out it's some guy all the way down the other end of the warehouse that's shooting you. So just keep your eyes open with Nemesis and be alert to that kind of an attack. And if you see that green puffing smoke, that's often the result of a sniper, because these guys put like orange flame attacks on you. Doesn't look like we have any snipers in here though, or I'd already be being attacked. So there's one crate over there that we have to take out, but we'll smack these guys around first. There's another crate over there. So we'll grab these two. 1. 2. And there's a clue. Seek clues as to Nemesis's plan. Well, Nemesis's plan is to make sure that when you fight him, it's a false Nemesis and not a real one. Can't remember who the contact is. Might be this guy, and I don't think so. I think it's the one who's in... He's in Founders Falls, but he's in like a fenced-in area in the middle of the zone. And he gets you going after Nemesis. Oh, we're going to take down Nemesis. We're going to take him down. And then it turns out, he's like, oh crap, this is a fake Nemesis. Yeah, Nemesis does that. Okay, so this is good. We're going to get our second to last one here. And then the last one should light up on the map. And it did. So I missed it over there. So we'll go back to it. I like this new costume. I think it's pretty cool. I think my least favorite is the one with the white shirt. I just don't feel like that looked right to me. To me, Liberty Lass is always wearing red or blue. And particularly red. It was actually the second suit I created for her. The original suit was Oops, no, wrong thing. Costume. Here, I'll show you. So this one is the original suit without the cape and with these kind of gloves and boots. That was the original suit. Then when you could change costumes with Icon and get a cape, it was issue 2 or 3. Liberty Lass was about 25th level. I think you had to be 25th level to do the missions originally. So once you got to 25th level looking like this all the time, I then got the new costume slot and the cape, and then I did this version for her. Again, I think with the folded boots and gloves. And then, but I like the straight boots and gloves better, so I switched to that when I created her here. And then I did a capeless version of her, so maybe we'll do that next. But I really like her with the cape. In some characters, I use capes, and some characters I don't, but I really, really like Liberty Lass with the cape. And I think because there's that really, really nice variant. If we look at it here, right, on her sleeve, you have the double stripes with the stars in it. On her glove, you have the double stripes with the star in it. And then on the cape, you have the double stripes with the stars in it. So I really like that you can make it that way on the whole costume, and it just looks really nice, I think. We need to talk to Philippa Moreau. I don't think you can call them. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a really funny one. Even though you have the phone number of the contact and it tells you to talk to that contact, you cannot do the mission of talking to the contact using the cell phone. Got a bunch of enhancements. Let's go ahead and sell them. I do really like that the enhancements can be sold anywhere for the same price. What do we have down here? I don't think we need fly. What do we have here? This is sniper attacks. We don't need that. This is sniper attacks. We don't. Well, let's see. Does that? Or maybe I shouldn't have sold that. Does that sell for anything? Let's try it. Probably not, but let's just see. Which one is that? Here. Nope. And then let's see, is there anything else? Probably not. That doesn't really, it's not worth it. I'll just sell them here. Quick foot goes, and accuracy goes. Red Fortune will keep. We might want to use that. And that looks like everything. Okay, guys. So let's head to Philippa Moreau and have a talk with her. Yeah, Kings Row has some of the most convenient shops because they've got a shop right, they've got the salesperson or whatever right there at the train station and right there by the leveler, which is really convenient. As opposed to like Steel Canyon or something where you got to fly all over the place to look, you got to find the shop somewhere in one of the buildings, or like here where you got to go find the little secret shops and stuff like that. So here's Philippa. And I can tell you about Nemesis' first attempt to gas the United States. Yep, Nemesis is pretty crazy. So this is one of these mini arcs where you get several missions in a row. It's not a story arc, but you get several missions in a row without going back to your contact. And one of the things that, I don't know if they've changed it, one of the things I didn't used to like about these is, I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, if I'm incorrect, somebody let me know, but I believe in the original formulation of the launch version of the game, right, very early on, that it didn't get you any more credit on the contacts like friend bar, right? I'll show you when we get in here, but see how there's a progress bar? And the way the progress bar originally worked was each time you did a mission, you got a little bit of progress. These dots were set much further over. When you got past the first hash, you got their cell phone number. When you got past the second hash, you got their story arc. And what I believe used to happen is the mini arcs didn't give you any more progress toward that than a single mission. So even though you did like 3 or 4 missions in a row, it only counted as one mission for the contact. And that used to be really frustrating, right? Because it might take an entire afternoon, but it doesn't give you any more credit. But here, it looks like, since this is the first mission we did for Anton, we're already past the cell phone notch. It looks like we are getting credit for each mission. So somebody must have changed that. I don't know if it's Homecoming or if it happened during live or what. But I do remember getting aggravated at that early on. And there is a lieutenant. Hi, buddy. I think, guys, we're getting close. Maybe after we get to 38th level and our 38th level defense power, that it'll be time to move this up to +2s. The only literal... Oh, look at... He is a +2, right? Literally the only reason I'm not on +2s now is it'll give us +3s in the missions. And I think +3 is a little rough. +2 is no problem, but I think +3 is going to be a little rough. Now here we have to watch out, because there are other guys around, and if we're not careful, we could get attacked by more than one of these, what are they called? Tirailleurs? I don't know how you say that. It's some kind of a Prussian word, I think. Or maybe it's French, I don't know. But Nemesis is Prussian. The words may be French, but Nemesis was Prussian, I believe. Somebody check me on that, but I think that's true. I remember when I was a kid, and I don't know, it was high school history or junior high. It must have been junior high. I can't remember now. It was in history class, and the teacher started talking about Prussia. And it was really funny. I think what had happened, if I'm not mistaken, is I had not read the book the way you're supposed to. It was called Modern Times, I think. And it was very weird to me as a kid because, to me, Modern Times means like now, right? But instead it was modern history is like the last couple hundred years in a historical sense versus, say, medieval history or ancient history. Modern history is kind of like the last couple hundred years. And so I thought that was kind of weird. But anyway, I think I hadn't read whatever the assignment was, right? And I don't know if I'd been sick or, you know, or what. I can't remember what grade this was. But it was something like 8th or 9th. And the teacher started talking about Prussia. And I thought, no, it's pronounced Russia. Why is he calling it Prussia? Because I didn't realize there was another country with almost the same name but a P in front of it. Because I'd never heard of Prussia when I was a kid, right? I'd heard of Germany. But if anybody had mentioned Prussia to me when I was younger, I did not remember it. And I remember, you know, so then we did some of the lecture, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I went home and I looked at the map of Europe and everything. I'm like, oh, that's Prussia. That's what they're talking about, right? Pre-World War II German area, right? Or pre-World War I. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, okay. We learned about the Austro-Hungarian Empire and all of that stuff. I was actually never a huge fan of quote-unquote modern history. I always preferred ancient history. I loved learning about Rome and Greece and, you know, even before that, like the ziggurats, not the prison here, but the actual, you know, if you and Sumeria and Babylonia and the ancient world and stuff. Ancient Egypt, oh man, I always thought that was the coolest stuff. They had such an interesting culture. And I always loved hieroglyphics and the types of engineering and construction the ancient Egyptians did. Man, I always thought that was really cool. One of the things I always wanted to do was visit Egypt and see like the pyramids and the Sphinx and all of that really cool stuff. Never got a chance. Maybe I will someday, like when I retire. And it's really funny with travel. I both hate and love it in this weird way. So I like being in cool places. I don't mind being in a place where I'm, you know, like being in, you know, Vancouver or something like that. Cool. But I hate the trip. Flying, ugh, despise it. Long road trips, hate it. You know, I enjoy being at my sister's house for the holidays and enjoying my nephews and stuff. They're a lot of fun. We had a great time this year. My nephews got obsessed with this TV show. I think it's on Max or whatever they call it, whatever it's called now. But it was called Kids Baking Championship or something. And of course, my nephews are kids, and they're about the age that the kids on the show. The kids on the show are like 11 to 14 or so, and my nephews are 10 and 15. So we like they had been watching it, and they got me watching it, and then we'd sit there and watch like a couple episodes a night and get through like a whole season in a week. And Valerie Bertinelli's on it. I've always liked her as an actress. Oh, and there's a buff. Yeah, if I were smart, I would have taken out all the non-lieutenants first. So the right way to do this, I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so they were watching the Kids Baking Championship. We had a lot of fun with that. I had a blast with them. I enjoyed being with them. But I absolutely detest, I hate with a white-hot intensity of 1,000 suns, the road trip up I-85 and I-95 to visit them. It's just awful. The drivers are so bad. The traffic is horrible. The roads are all under construction permanently. It's just, which makes the traffic even worse. So if I could just, I always said, if I could just step onto a transporter pad as in Star Trek and say, beam me to my sister's house, and they could just beam me over there, I'd visit her all the time. But I don't like the actual travel. I hate air travel. I hate driving. I don't mind being on a road trip and somebody else is driving as much as doing the driving, but I still don't love them. And there's a Tirolor getting me. There's another one. You see? Okay, so now we have two of them. And that's going to be a little rough. So let's go ahead and pop a luck to try to help us out. And we'll take this guy out. We just got to stand in the muck. We have a little bit of toxic resistance. I think it's toxic that's hitting us. So, if these guys, instead of being Tirolors, or however you say that word, if they had been regular lieutenants, so that you don't want them to buff each other in particular as well as the mobs, because then they become really hard to hit, as you saw with that second guy. There is a trick to it. I'm going to see if I can show you the trick, but they may not be spaced in a way to do it. So the trick to it, I'll show you with these guys. At least the way I do it, right? The trick to it is this, right? You get them all on you, right? And then what you want to do is you take out the individual let's pretend that this guy and this guy are the lieutenants. So we'll take out this guy first, right? You take the non-lieutenants out first, right? So these are the two non-lieutenants, right? And then what you do is you get in between these two and you alternate. And it's going to be hard to do with these guys because they're so weak, but you get them down to a very low hit point level, right? And then when you've got them both down nice and low, right, both lieutenants, you don't have to do it with Brawl with lieutenants because they're tougher. Then you do a build-up AoE. Take them out at once, and they can't buff each other. So that's what I try to do. I don't always have the presence of mind to do that while I'm narrating. And sometimes you can't, just situationally, the way the room is arranged, or the way the Tirolors are attacking you, or whatever. From a distance, you may not be able to do it. And if you can't, the other solution is, of course, to down a yellow pill, and then you'll be able to hit them through their whatchamacallit, their buff, right? Their fortitude or whatever it is that they're giving them. Yeah, see, there weren't any other lieutenants, so I couldn't have shown you the technique. But anyway, hopefully it's obvious based on what I just showed. And yeah, it's just the idea is just chew down the lieutenants, alternate between them, chew them down to a sliver of health, and then do your AoE, take them out at once. Now, obviously, that requires them to be close to you. If they're not close enough, you kind of can't do it, obviously. And this is a clue to their plans, and we've completed the mission. Out we go. And I think this might be enough for today. Let's see, how long have we done? 30 minutes. Well, we might be able to keep going a little bit. So let's head back to Antoine Sampson in Founders Falls. And the train station's right here. Okay, yeah, so tech. These are all SOs. Tech is what the Nemesis drop. Right, so you can see that because all 4 of these are tech SOs. So that is their faction, and that makes sense because although the guys who are have been fighting us now just seem to have old-fashioned muskets, right? They're sort of steampunk, and there are steampunky, robot-y things like false nemeses and warhulks and stuff that Nemesis and the Jaegers that are little like steampunk robot creatures that are part of this faction. I don't know why we haven't seen them. It's possible that they only come in as you level up, kind of the way the Circle of Thorns starts adding in air and fire thorn casters as you level up, and they start cycling out some of the other types of enemies that are part of their faction. Oh, we get a new contact. Oh man. Oh, these guys are both good. Let's do Steve Sheridan. I think we'll get to Cadeo Kestrel eventually. And Mass Duplicity, Liberty Lass, I have a mission for you. We have a shipment of illegal technology coming in. Can you intercept the shipment? This is going to be Nemesis, I think. We're going to Independence Port. So we've only done 30 minutes. I've got to get dinner, but let's go ahead. Hopefully it won't be a really long mission. It's not one of these outdoor missions. If it were, I would say nah. But it's not an outdoor mission, so we should be all right. And we're now 3 beads into level 35, so we're moving along. Yeah, earlier today I was playing, and somebody on the help channel asked, what's the difference between accuracy and 2-hit buff? And I've explained it here on the channel, so I'm not going to go back through it. But yeah, it confused the heck out of me for years. When we started playing, I thought everything worked like a 2-hit buff. I didn't realize that accuracy works the way it does. In fairness to me, it wasn't explained at all by the devs initially, right? Like, as I've said in earlier episodes, Statesman believed in hiding all of the numbers from the players so that we wouldn't overly metagame. And it wasn't until later when Positron and Castle started exposing more of the numbers that we actually started to see this stuff. But that kind of thing wasn't available when the game launched. It just said SOs are twice as good as DOs, DOs are twice as good as trainers, and trainers will help you a little bit. Right? That's pretty much all we knew. And it was the players actually watching the numbers going up over the heads and sitting there like actually counting their 2-hit and how often they hit and how often they missed. They figured out that base 2-hit was 75%. That one of these, I think back then, did plus 25% to hit buff and that sort of thing. And so by the time I was playing in launch, a lot of those numbers were known, at least in a general sense, because people had figured them out. But I don't think, there's another sniper, I don't think the, and this other sniper's going to attack me probably. I don't think the devs had deliberately exposed the numbers yet until, like, after a patch or two had gone through, and then they finally started having to expose the numbers because people were complaining about misstreaks and stuff. And in order to prove to us that the game wasn't bugged, they had to expose the numbers so that we could, they could prove to us that yes, our game is working okay, right? So you can see here, toxic gas, right? There's the info on it. So you can see, what does it do? It does just toxic damage over time. So we have a little bit of resistance to toxic, but not a lot. It's only 8 or 10%, right? So you got to watch out here, right? If I step forward and there's a Tiralor here, then you have a problem, right? He's going to start shooting you. That's the wrong button. Keep doing that. What I want to hit is that one. There we go. You can see how we can take these guys out in 1 or 2 shots. And that's without them being enhanced. So once they are enhanced, they'll be even better powers. So our goal here is to find the weapon shipment. I think that means we don't have to defeat everybody. Oh, wow. That guy is a +3. Holy cow, what the heck is he doing in this mission? Alright, we're going to leave him for last because I definitely don't want him juicing these guys up. We should be okay. We have pretty good resistance on this character now. They're doing a lot of smashing and lethal. They do some fire. Right, you can see that, right? That's some fire damage. But our fire is alright. It's 8%. So we're going to need 2 hit buffs here. And try to do as much damage as we can. Wow, look at that. Even missing a 95% to hit. Got him. 3,000 XP for taking out a purple. I hear a glowy. There's a crate. I keep doing that. I keep hitting the cone punch AoE when it's charged. And I don't really need it. All it does is allow you to do more than 5 hits at once, and we're not fighting more than 5 guys. I should do that. The problem is it's just right next to it. So that's not what we need. Is that what we need? Apparently not. There's a Tiralor, so he's going to start attacking me right away. And again, one of the things to do with these guys is make sure you don't stop in front of hallways like that, the way I just almost did. Because again, there could be another sniper down the hallway and he'll just start shooting you. And then you're taking damage from 2 guys without being able to hit back. Right now, it turns out there wasn't anybody over here, but you just have to watch for that. And wow, there's another purple. Come on over here, guys. I don't want the purple getting involved. Come on. Is he a sniper? He's not. Okay. I love doing AoEs to a bunch of guys like that. So one of the things that's seemingly dumb, but not that dumb, from Nemesis is they've got these rifles. Why are they moving into melee range? Well, there's a reason, right? These are muskets. Muskets are not very accurate. Yeah, they are if the snipers use them. But, you know, ordinarily with a musket, short range is better. So I think that's kind of what they're doing. And they also have bayonets on the ends of them, and they do a lot of damage with those bayonets. So there's that as well. Just looking around for snipies. I don't see any. And there's another crate. Did it again, using the charged version for no good reason. Why do I keep doing that? Doesn't really matter, but it's not optimal. So there's one up here. And then there's one down here. So neither of those is it, nor are either of them the second to last one, because then another one would have lit up at the front, at the top there in the north. So you have to be careful here again. Try to use the terrain and block. Right, see there's a Tiralor. There's a regular sergeant. And there's Lance Sergeant Lemley. Alright, we're actually going to start with the Tiralor, the sniper. Because I want him taken out first. I don't want the... I did it again. I don't want the lieutenant to buff the sniper. Alright, now we shouldn't have any more AoEs to worry about. And then we're going to take that guy out here first. Alright, so now we're going to run this guy over here to get him away from that other sergeant. And make sure he doesn't buff him. Then we can come over to the Lancer Sergeant over here, which is named Sergeant Lemley. Why he's not a boss, I don't know. Yep, that was a mistake. I should have taken this guy out first, but we're alright. We got him. So we defeated Lemley, and we need to defeat the rest of his crew, and then we need to get that box. But first, we have some nemesis to fight. It looks like I missed somebody. Over here? No, I don't see the red dot now. Oh, there's another shipment over here. Another box. Ah. We need what's in the desk. And that is the mission and the clue. Shipping ledgers. So these are ledgers that are bringing tech, somebody's bringing tech stuff into the Nemesis faction. Should be able to call Anton Sampson now, and he gives us a clue, and we'll do more missions from him next time. I think that's enough for now, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. I certainly have. I'm having a lot of fun with this game. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.